it looks like a dollar, and perhaps it spins like a dollar, but if it is not redeemable for lawful money, it is colorable. Fiat, fake, false. If a Federal Reserve note is used in a contract, then the contract becomes a colorable contract, and colorable contracts can only be enforced under a colorable jurisdiction. So, by creating Federal Reserve notes, the government had to make a colorable jurisdiction to cover the kinds of contracts that use them. We now have statutory jurisdiction, which is not a genuine admiralty jurisdiction. Judges are enforcing a colorable admiralty jurisdiction because we are using colorable money. Colorable admiralty is now known as statutory jurisdiction. So, let's see how we got under the statutory jurisdiction. Section 16, Uniform Commercial Code. The government established a colorable law system to fit their colorable currency. It used to be called the law merchant or the law of redeemable instruments because it dealt with paper, which was redeemable in something of substance. But once Federal Reserve notes had been declared unredeemable, there had to be a system of law that was ultimately colorable from start to finish. The UCC Connection, page 15. This system of law is codified as the Uniform Commercial Code and has been adopted in every state of the Union. This is a colorable law used in all of the nation's courts. I explained one of the keys earlier, which is that the country is bankrupt and we have no rights. If the master says jump, the enslaved person had better jump because the master has the right to cut off his head. As enslaved people, we have no rights. But the creditor's masters had to cover up that fact, so they created the system of law called the UCC. This colorable jurisdiction under the UCC is the key to understanding what is happening. Section 17, Contract or Agreement. One difference between common law and the UCC is that in common law, contracts must be entered into knowingly, voluntarily, and intentionally. Under the UCC, this is not so. First, contracts are necessary, but under the UCC, agreements can be binding. If you only exercise the benefits of an agreement, it is presumed or implied that you intend to meet the obligations associated with those benefits. If you accept the benefit offered by the government, you must follow every statute involved. So their method is to get everybody exercising a benefit, and they don't even have to tell the people what the benefit is. Some people think it's the driver's license, the marriage license, birth certificate, etc. I believe it's none of these. Section 18, the compelled benefit. I believe the benefit being used is that we have been given the privilege of discharging debt with limited liability instead of paying debt with substance. When we pay a debt, we offer substance for substance, equal value for equal value. How to free yourself from legal tyranny. Page 16, if I buy a quart of milk with a silver dollar, that dollar pays for the milk, which produces for the dollar substance for stance, pound for pound, but if I use a Federal Reserve to buy the milk, I have not paid for it. There is no substance in the Federal Reserve note. It is a worthless paper given in exchange for something of substantive value. Congress offers us this remedy in the form of a benefit. Debt money, fake money authorized by the federal United States, can be spent all over the continental United States. It is declared legal tender for all debts, public and private, and the limited liability is that you cannot be sued for not paying your debts when you discharge the charge using this colorable money. So they have said, we're going to help you out. You can discharge your debts instead of paying your debts. When we use this colorable money to discharge our debts, we cannot use common law courts. We can only use colorable law courts. We are under the jurisdiction of the UCC. We are using non-redeemable negotiable instruments, and we are discharging debt rather than paying debts. Section 19, Remedy and Recourse. Every system of civilized law must have two characteristics, remedy and recourse. The remedy is a way to get out from under the law. If you have been damaged under the law, you can recover your loss. The common law, the law of merchants, and even the UCC